Sir,
My people are not gonna make it today, so I'm gonna have to pass on mine. Kramer, Georgia, you're there. They're not gonna make it.
okay, so pass on Kramer.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, just call me later and we can reset.
Okay, sounds good.
Can you hear me? I'm Robert Galler.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Cool.
All right, we're passing on Kramer.
Yes, sir.
Chambers County Probate Court come to order. Good morning. How's everyone?
Good, Judge.
Morning.
All right, anyone that's going to testify, please raise your right hand. We'll swear you all in at the same time.
Do you confirm that the
Raise your right hand.
testimony you're giving in this application is true and correct? So help you God.
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hands down and we'll proceed with number 21 CPR 0033 for Frederick Galler.
Let's see. Holly, I'm going to call you first. I'm looking for you. Judge,
Who you calling this one?
I was going to call Wade DeValera, and I'm not seeing him on here. So let me call James Finn first.
Okay.
Mr. Finn, can you unmute yourself?
How's that?
Perfect. I can hear you. So will you state your name for the court?
James Finn, F-I-N-N.
Okay. And were you well acquainted with the family history of George Frederick Galler?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty well acquainted.
And what was your relationship to Mr. Galler?
We were just friends.
Okay. Now, Mr. Galler died on November 13th, 2020 in Chambers County at the age of 63 years, correct?
As best of my recollection, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And 4 years have elapsed since his death.
Went away.
Yes.
How long did you know Mr. Galler?
Probably between 50 and 52 years.
And when was the last time that you saw and spoke to Mr. Galler before he passed?
It was probably a couple of years before he passed away. We didn't run the same circles, you know, plus I stay at work most of the time. So it's probably within a couple of years of his death.
And was Mr. Galler married at the time of his passing?
No.
I'm like 2 weeks before at the post office.
Let's see. Melissa's iPad, is that Holly?
Yes, that's Cully. Yes.
Could you mute just a minute, please?
Oh, yeah, let's see. Oh,
We gotta figure out how to.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay. And to your knowledge, Mr. Galler was married only one time during his lifetime. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And they divorced in 1999 in Chambers County?
Honestly, I'm not sure when he divorced, but I know he was divorced, yes.
You know he was divorced. Okay. And there were no children as a result of his marriage to Jeanette Galler. Is that correct?
Not to my knowledge, no, ma'am.
Okay. And did you speak to him regularly?
No, not regularly. Just whenever we passed in town or, you know, I saw him someplace.
But as far as you know, he did not have any children that he adopted or that he ever agreed to adopt before his death?
No, not to my knowledge, no, ma'am.
Okay. And as far as you know, Mr. Galler's parents are deceased?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ever talk to Mr. Galler about having a will?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. Did he ever tell you that he had a will?
No, ma'am.
So as far as you know, he did not have a will?
As far as I know,
Okay. Do you have any financial interest in his estate?
no.
Okay. I pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Park. You're muted, Richard. Richard, you're muted.
Sorry. Mr.
There you
Finn, Mr. Finn, you and I previously had a discussion regarding Mr. Galler, correct?
Yes, sir.
Telephone conversation, right? And I asked you basically the same questions Miss White just asked you, correct, about him?
Yes.
And he had no long-term relationship, no people living with him or in his house that you know of?
No, not to my knowledge. No, sir.
Okay. And never adopted or had any children as far as you know?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
And as far as you know, he had no will or any other heirs other than what we've discussed, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Pass the witness.
All right, call your next witness, Ms. White.
All right, Cully, if you can unmute now. Thank you, James. You can mute.
Thank you.
Cully, if you look down in your bottom left corner, it should say mute. If you click that, it'll unmute you.
Okay, we
There
on?
you go. Okay, I don't think we swore you in, Kelly, a while ago, so if you'll raise your right hand.
Okay,
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct? So help you God?
yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down and you may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you. Please state your name for the court.
My name is Cullen Wade DeVillier. They call me Cully.
Okay, and you were well acquainted with the family history of George Frederick Galler?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was your relationship to Mr. Galler?
Oh, just a lifelong friend.
Okay, and Mr. Galler died on November 13th, 2020 in Chambers County when he was 63 years old, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and 4 years have not elapsed since his death.
No.
And how long did you know Mr. Galler?
Oh, since grade school.
Since grade school? And when was the last time you spoke to him prior to his passing?
I think approximately 2 or 3 weeks. Saw him at the post office.
Okay, and was Mr. Galler married at the time of his passing?
No, ma'am, I don't think so.
Okay, and to your knowledge, Mr. Galler was only married one time, and that was to Jennifer Galler in 97, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and they were divorced in 1999 in Chambers County, is that
I
correct?
think so. Yes, ma'am.
There are no children born of that marriage, is that right?
No, not in my knowledge.
Okay, and did you speak with him regularly?
You know, I saw him periodically, might be 6 weeks or 6 months. But he would bring his dogs out and let them run on our property. And just saw him then, you know.
Was there a period of time that you didn't speak to him for like say 9 months where you could have had a child that you were not aware of?
No, I don't think so. I think I spoke to him more often than that.
Okay, and as far as you know, he didn't adopt any children?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, and as far as you know, he never expressed a desire or intention to adopt any children, right?
No, ma'am. He liked his dogs.
Okay, and then Mr. Galler's parents were deceased, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he ever talk to you about having a will or that he had state that he had a will?
No,
Okay, and do you have any financial interest in Mr. Galler's estate?
no, ma'am.
Okay, I pass the witness. Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Mr. DeVillier, this is Richard Park. We had a conversation recently regarding Mr. Galler. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I asked you basically the same questions Miss White asked you. Isn't that correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
And plus we had a long other discussion about a lot of other things, but Mr. Galler didn't have any children that you know of, and you would have known if he had any children, correct?
No, he had none as far as I know. I mean, you know, the DNA that's ancestry.com could change that, but I don't know any better.
All right.
I'm not doing it.
And he had no wife or anybody living with him at the time that he passed away, correct?
No, sir. No wife or anything like that.
Right. Okay. We passed the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. White.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm going to call my client, Robert J. Galler. And Jay,
Yes.
and Cole, if you want to, you can mute on your bottom left corner again.
let's see here. Yeah. Here we go.
Let me go ahead. Mr. Park, I see you signed off on the judgment declaring airship. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and approve the judgment declaring airship. And Ms. White, you may proceed with the administration.
Thank you, Judge. Jay, please state your name for the court.
Robert J. Galler.
Okay. And Mr. Galler died on, your brother Fred died on November 13th, 2020 in Winnie at the age of 63, correct?
November 13th, and his name is George Frederick. Yes.
George Frederick. Okay.
Yeah, you call him Fred, but it's George Frederick.
Okay. So, and then it has not been more than 4 years since his date of death?
No,
Okay. And he was a resident of Chambers County at the time of his death, correct?
correct.
He was not married at the time of his passing?
No,
And he was married one time during his lifetime to Jennifer Galler in 97, on April 2nd in 1997, correct?
yes,
Okay. And they were divorced in 1999 in Chambers County.
yes,
And there was no children as a result of his marriage to Jennifer.
no,
And there was no children ever born to or adopted by your brother, correct?
no,
Okay. And there's a necessity for the administration of this estate. Is that correct?
pardon me, what was that?
There's a necessity for the administration of this estate.
Yes,
And you're asking that you be appointed the administrator of the estate, correct?
yes,
And you're qualified to serve as such and to accept letters of administration.
yes,
Okay. And it's a non-taxable estate. Is that correct?
I think it's a non-taxable estate, yes.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of accounts. We're not sure how much it is, but we estimate roughly 3 million as far as the estate.
I don't know how much. He was pretty secretive about what he had. And when I called up and told Chevron that he had passed away, they locked down all the accounts and said, I need a letter before we can distribute anything.
Yeah, but
So-
what we came up with, we estimated roughly 3,300,000, right?
Yes,
Okay. And you're asking the court to waive the requirement of a bond?
yes,
And you're asking the court to waive the appointment of appraisers?
yes.
Okay. Judge, that's all I have of this witness. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Park, anything?
The only heirs are, have signed off on the independent administration. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. White, anything else?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, hereby grant the independent administration authorized letters of administration. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You folks are welcome to stay on, or you can get off if you'd like to, Mr. Finn. Kelly, have a good day. That's why. All right, cause number 21, CPR 0040, the state of Bobby Sue Wallace. Clapper.
She's muted.
Now, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you now. You may proceed.
Is your name Samuel Otis Wallace?
Yes,
And were you the husband of Bobby Sue Wallace?
yes,
And you, she was a resident here of Chambers County for more than 65 years.
yes,
And she died on March the 20th of last year, 2020. March the 4th?
right,
I don't know why I had that. March the 4th in 2020. 4 years have not passed since her death.
no,
Now, the will designates you to be the independent executor of the estate, and you're willing to do that.
yes,
And she had one marriage and one marriage only, and that was to you.
right,
And y'all had 3 children, Lori, Charlotte, and Sam Jr.
yes,
You did not, and she did not adopt any other children or have any other children born to your marriage other than Lori,
No.
Charlotte, and Sam Jr. Now, I'm going to show you this will because we looked at it right before the court, and you are familiar with her signature,
Yes,
and you recognize that to be the signature of your wife, Bobby Sue Wallace,
yes,
and that it's notarized by Cynthia Clark and witnessed by Rob Clapper and Georgia Clapper.
right.
Now, since when this was signed, did she at any time revoke the will or cancel it to your knowledge?
No,
And she certainly didn't come see me to do a change, did she?
no,
So the will does designate you as the sole beneficiary. There is no governmental agency or any type of charitable organization named as a beneficiary.
no.
And you are asking the court to admit the will to probate, to
Yeah.
grant you letters testamentary, that the bond be waived in accordance with the request of the will, and you're willing to do everything you need to do to probate the estate of your wife.
Yes.
That's all, Judge.
All right, everybody admit the will to probate and authorize letters. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wallace, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cynthia?
Cause number 21 CPR 0043, the state of Arthur Royce Morier, Senior. Ms. Price, good morning. Cindy. Where's Cindy? Oh, there she is. Lacey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Good.
She's muted.
I know.
Okay, I'm good.
There you go.
Sorry. Pat, I have to use the mouse. I couldn't find my mouse, Judge.
That's all right. You may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. Do we have Ann Moyer on?
She's asleep.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, there she is. Oh, Ann.
Do we have
Oh,
Jim
Ann.
Moyer on?
Oh,
There she is.
there's Ann.
Sorry. Moyer, can you hear us?
Ann?
Hello.
And Ann.
Okay. Let me call her.
Somebody may have to call her.
Yes, we will, Judge.
There
Is
she is.
James Moyer on? Oh, no.
Cousin Jimmy.
I'm pointing to him.
Ann's moving around right now. Ann, can you hear us? She don't. Hi, Ann. She's smiling.
Yeah.
And can you tell us hello?
All right, so. is
Yeah. We
this-
need James Moyer now, if he's online.
There he is.
Okay, I don't know if he can hear. It says still trying to connect to audio.
Anybody talk?
All right, Cindy, why don't you mute and see if you can get him to the audio, so I see somebody's calling Ann.
Yeah, we got
Yeah, I
Ann.
can hear her on the phone, but
All right,
she said
can we?
she can't hear y'all.
She can't hear us, Judge. I'm not sure if she knows. Can we just put her on speaker on her phone here?
Sure.
Okay, put that
Okay.
on speaker.
We're gonna put you on speaker and they're gonna ask questions, all right? Hold on.
And I can put the gentleman back in the waiting room real quick and bring him back in, see if maybe that'll get him to rejoin the audio again.
All right,
Right.
Austin, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Moyer, can you hear us?
Where'd she go?
There she is.
Oh.
Can you're gonna have to speak up, Miss Moyer.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Miss
Hear
Moyer,
you.
can you tell the court how you related to Arthur Moyer Senior?
He is my brother-in-law.
Okay, right. And to your knowledge, he died in February the 5th, 2001, correct?
Yes, in Maytown, Texas,
Right, and he,
Harris County.
right, and he lived in Chambers County, is that correct?
Yes,
And he was married many, many years ago to a couple of ladies, but he was divorced for them, correct?
true.
And he
True.
never had any children with those ladies, correct?
No, no.
And then he married Edna Moyer, is that correct? In 1964?
That's right.
And he had 2 children of that marriage. Is that correct?
True.
And that is Arthur Jr. sitting here and Sharon Moyer. Is that correct?
Royce and Sharon.
Yes, Royce and Sharon. So what we're trying to do today is determine who are the heirs today. And you are related to Mr. Moyer, but do you have any interest in this estate?
No.
Okay, I'll pass this witness, Judge.
Ms.
Brenda.
Moyer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, my name's Lacey. I called you on the 28th. Do you remember talking to me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just a couple extra questions. I understand he was married twice and he didn't have any children with those 2 wives, but for the record, you never heard of him speak of any other children outside of the 2 that he had with Miss Edna, correct?
No, there's no other children.
And there's no possibility of any other children that may have lived with him that could claim adoption by estoppel or anything like that, correct?
Would you repeat that again?
Are there any other kids that lived with him that could claim that they were possibly adopted by him?
No.
Okay, and do you have a financial interest in the estate?
No.
Okay, I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ann. I think we're done with you. Gotta love these.
You need it for me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Have a good day.
So I could hang up?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you. All right, call your next witness, counselor.
Thank you, Judge. We need Jim Moyer. Can you hear us? I don't think you can. We're gonna try to call him, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, Paul.
Who's this new guy coming?
If I may, Judge, just for expedited some time, can I just call one of my?
Sure.
Okay. State your name for the court record.
Arthur Royce Moyer Jr.
And how are you related to the decedent?
He was my father.
And to your knowledge, he only had 2 other marriages, but no other children. Is that correct?
Correct.
And he married your mom, Edna Moyer, in 1964, correct?
Correct.
And he never brought in another child to raise as his own. It was just you and your sister Sharon, correct?
Correct.
And there was no other children born or adopted, correct?
Correct.
And you're asked, I'll pass this witness, Judge.
Brenda.
I have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, what about your other witness?
Sharon, she's in here. Let me get her.
Trying to talk to my cousin Jimmy.
Is that Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's put him on. Judge, we've
Okay.
got Jimmy on phone. We're gonna do that same way.
That'll work.
Okay, put him
Okay.
on speaker.
So I'm gonna put you on speaker and he can talk and we'll be able to hear.
No.
Whatever phone that you're talking on right now. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Moyer, are you on the line?
I am.
Okay, good. All right, Mr. Moyer, tell us how you're related to Arthur Royce Moyer Sr.
That's correct.
Okay, now how are you related? Are you his nephew or?
Brother.
Okay, so you're very well aware of Mr. Moyer's marital history, correct?
Well, I was very small when I was dating, and I think it was before I'm that.
Okay, Mr. Moyer,
Yes,
all right. Did he only have 2 children when he was married to Edna, Miss Moyer?
that's correct.
Okay, and he had no other children in the household and never brought any other children into the household?
No.
Pass this witness, Judge.
Counselor.
Mr. Moyer, this is Lacey. I spoke with you this week. Do you remember talking to me?
Do?
Lacey Rendon, the attorney ad litem. I talked to you this week.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, just two questions for you. Do you have a financial interest in the estate?
Do I?
Yes.
No.
Okay. And are you being paid for your testimony today?
Will I what?
Are you being paid for your testimony today?
Yes.
Mr. Moyer, has anybody offered you money for your testimony?
No, they have not.
Okay, I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, glad we got that cleared up. All right, Ms. Price.
This has been a morning. Let me call Sharon Moyer, please. State your name
Okay.
for the court record.
My name's Sharon Lee Moyer.
And how are you related to the decedent?
He was my father.
And your brother's sitting here next to you and you heard his testimony. Do you agree to all the questions that he answered today?
Who's that guy over here?
We're asking the court today that you and your mother and your brother here are going to be the only heirs of Arthur Royce Moyer Sr. Is that correct?
Yes.
Pass this witness.
Counsel.
I have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, Ms. Price?
Only for the independent administration judge.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and approve the judgment declaring heirship, and you may proceed on the independent administration.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
And Royce, I'm going to start with you. There is a necessity for an administration of this estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that your mother actually waived her right for letters of independent administration in favor of you and your sister as independent co-administrators? Is that correct?
Yes.
And you are qualified, not disqualified to serve as that.
Correct.
Okay. Pass this witness, Judge.
Counselor,
No questions, Your Honor.
And
anything
Sharon,
else?
You, the same
Yes.
question I asked your brother. Are you qualified, not disqualified to serve?
Yes.
And you're asking the court today to grant y'all both independent co-administrator letters into the estate of your father. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's all I have, Judge.
Okay. All right, I hereby approve the independent administration and authorized letters. And I'm also, as we speak, approving the appointed ad litem fees.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Take care. This may end up on funniest court video at some point.
And was her day. Thanks, Judge.
Oh, that was funny.
All right, let's go to cause number 46, the state of Teresa Ortiz. Mr. McCall, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
You may proceed, Counselor.
Thank you, Judge. Your name is Michael Ortiz, is that correct?
Yes,
Your mother was Teresa Ortiz,
yes,
and she passed away on May the 29th of 2020.
yes,
She had her fixed place of residence in Chambers County on the day she passed away, is that correct?
yes,
You filed her last will and testament for probate in this court.
yes,
Her will's dated March 18th of 2019, is that correct?
yes.
So far as you know, she never revoked that.
No.
She didn't leave anything to any charity or governmental entity.
No,
She didn't have any children born to her, adopted to her after the day of the will.
no,
She didn't get divorced after the day of the will.
no,
The will names you to be the independent executor of the estate,
yes,
and you're not disqualified in any way from serving as independent executor.
no,
And you're asking that the court appoint you to be the independent executor and to waive bond. Is that correct?
yes.
That's all I have, Judge.
All right, hereby admit the will to probate and authorized letters. Thank you,
Thank
Counselor.
you, Judge.
Take care. All right, cause number 47, the state of Yelda. Good morning, Ms. Quigley. Dad, how are you? You muted, Don.
How about that?
Yeah, that's good. You may proceed, Counsel.
Perfect.
Would you state your full name for the record?
Jet Harlan DeVillier.
Mr. DeVillier, I understand your dad, Yale DeVillier, died on March 29th of this year in Houston at the age of 57. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
At the time of his death, he was a resident of Chambers County. Is that right?
Yes.
We presented this document dated February 27th, 2019 as his last will and testament. Do you recognize the signature on there?
Yes.
And do you believe this to be his last will and testament?
Yes.
And I understand that no children are born to him or adopted by him after the date of the will. Is that right?
Yes.
And no marriage of his was dissolved after the will was made. Is that correct?
Yes.
But there is a necessity for the administration of this estate. Is that right?
Yes.
And no state or governmental agency or charity is named in the will as a beneficiary. Is that correct?
Yes.
But you're named in the will as independent executor. As far as you know, are you qualified to do that job? And are you not disqualified to do that job?
Yes, sir. I'm qualified.
Very well. That's all we have, Your Honor.
All right, everybody admit the will of probate and authorized letter. Jed, good to see you. Take care. If I can do anything. You know
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, calls number 50, the state of William Elver Stultz. Ms. Clapper, good morning again.
Good morning. Is your name Robert Stultz?
Yes.
And you knew William Elver Stultz?
Yes,
He was your brother.
he was.
And he was a resident of Chambers County for more than 15 years prior to his death recently. When did your brother die?
January 31st.
January the 31st of 2021 at the age of 67. Can you still hear us?
You can. I think that was.
Yeah, we had somebody on join by phone and I just muted them. So
thank you.
Not sure who that might be.
Yeah, I think it was the blooper a while ago.
The will names you to serve as successor, independent executor, and you're willing to do that.
Yes.
Dean Stultz, your other brother, having been first named, did sign a waiver to serve as executor because he lives so far away.
Correct.
And agrees to and approves of you being the successor independent executor. You're willing to do that responsibility for your brother, are you not?
Oh, we do.
Not discarded in any manner.
No.
Now, your brother had one child. He was married one time during his lifetime, correct?
Yes.
And that was to V.C. Lynn Stultz Tobias, during which marriage he had one child, Jacqueline Candace Stultz, now Jacqueline Candace Martin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, that marriage was terminated in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, by a decree of divorce. But after that marriage, he didn't marry another, but he did have another child with a relationship with the lady who I will mispronounce, Suzanne Marie Cernisic Sabarbaro.
Yes.
And that child's name is William Kyle Stultz.
Correct.
And he was born November 27th of 1990. Degree of legitimization entered in cause number 702 in Polk County, Texas. He has been declared judicially to be the son on January 28th of 1992 of your brother, William Elver Stultz. Do you know of any other child that was born to him in marriage or out of marriage other than these two children?
No.
All right, I'm going to show you this will, the signature on the last page. Are you familiar with your brother's signature?
Yes.
And is that indeed Bill Stultz's signature?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's been witnessed by Cynthia Clark, Georgia Clapper, and notarized by Rob Clapper. After he signed this on September 24th of 2014, to your knowledge, did he ever revoke it or cancel it in any manner?
No.
All right, but he did let you guys know the responsibilities that he had asked you to serve.
Yes.
And you're willing to serve that, correct?
Yes.
So 4 years have not lapsed since his death. There is no child that was born to or adopted by him after the making of this will, to your knowledge.
No.
And no government agency or charitable organization is named in the will as a beneficiary. In fact, those two children are named specifically in the will to be his sole beneficiaries, correct?
Correct.
Now, you are willing to serve and you're asking the court to admit the will to probate, grant you letters testamentary to serve without bond, and you'll do what your brother's asked you to do for his children.
Yes.
That's all, Judge.
All right, everybody admit the will of probate and authorized letters.
Thank you. It was fun today.
Yeah, it was fun today, wasn't it? All right. With that,
I
think
enjoyed.
court's adjourned.
Have a good day.
Me too. Take care.